I'm John Snodgrass from Leupold. Today we're going to talk about one of the most important but oftentimes most overlooked parts of your deer rifle system, and that's the scope mounts. A lot of times what we see is people will spend a lot of money on a rifle, a lot of money on a rifle scope, and then they'll put an inferior quality mount system on there or cheap out on the mounts. And people don't tend to realize that it's actually probably the heart of the system. It's what ties everything together as far as accuracy goes, of maintaining the relationship between the rifle scope, the shooter, and the rifle. And so it's important to put on a really high quality set of rifle scope mounts in order to make sure you're going to give yourself the best chance to maintain that good accuracy and that relationship of the rifle scope to the rifle. There's a lot of different types of mounts on the market. Most important thing is making sure that you have a mount system that's going to fit the mounting length of your scope. When we talk about the mounting length, we're talking about the distance that you have a free main tube to put the rings on, and that's between the eyepiece and usually what we call the bell of the scope, and then you'll have the turret in the middle. So that's going to control your mounting length. You want to make sure that your mounts are going to match the mounting length of the scope, so you have a little bit of movement to move that scope forward and backward in the rings in order to get proper eye relief when you're behind the rifle. Always use a good torque wrench. Torque specs matter, so make sure when you're mounting your scope, you're torquing the rail to the rifle. Follow the manufacturer's specs, and then also you always want to use a torque wrench when you're mounting your scope in your rings. Scope manufacturers will have their own torque specs for how tight to tighten on the main tube. Always use the scope manufacturer's torque specs, not necessarily the ring manufacturer's torque specs. That's just going to make sure that you don't do any damage to the main tube of the scope. Like I said, there's a lot of different kinds of rings and mounts on the market today, so ensure you're getting a good quality mount from a reliable source. If you're going for a little bit more lightweight, there's some options out there that are two-piece bases that are integral. The ring and the base is one piece. Those are fairly lightweight, so they're good for a lightweight style rifle. There are some types of mounts out there that are what we call a windage adjustable ring or a windage adjustable base. Those windage adjustable bases will let you make slight movements in the positioning of the scope in order to kind of get that good solid zero before you start using the adjustments in the scope to fine tune it. For more information about scope mounts from Leupold, check out leupold.com.